Hey there, curious minds. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
We're diving into some fascinating knowledge you've shared. Today, it's a really big one, a cosmic riddle, you could say.
One that philosophers and spiritual thinkers have wrestled with for ages.
Exactly. If the divine, God, source, whatever term you use, is absolute perfection, totally complete, why create a universe at all?
Why this whole incredible display? What could possibly be the point if perfection already exists?
Right. And our sources for this deep dive, they're excerpts from a treatise called Sacred Alchemy.
And it offers a really quite a radical answer, something that might change how you see, well, everything.
That's our mission today, then. Let's unpack this vision, what the text calls the secret at the heart of creation.
Yeah, this goes way beyond just old texts. It could reshape our whole understanding of why we're even here.
Okay, so let's start with that core paradox from Sacred Alchemy, absolute perfection.
Complete in itself.
So what mysterious necessity, as the text puts it, or unnameable yearning, could possibly move the divine to unfold into, well, this, all of creation?
Mhm.
The text points out that the usual answer is like, oh, it's just God's nature to create, or it's an overflow of goodness, they kind of fall short. Why is that, according to this source?
Well, what's really insightful here, I think, is the text argument that those traditional answers,
Mm-hmm.
they can accidentally imply some kind of primordial incompleteness
Incompleteness in the divine.
or an ontological compulsion. Basically, if the divine had to create because it was its nature, or if it desired to share goodness, that desire itself, even a divine one, hints at something not quite fulfilled.
A subtle lack, almost.
Exactly, a lack. And this is where sacred alchemy drops its really central idea. It suggests the divine created the universe, moved by a sacred absence.
A sacred absence, not an imperfection.
No, not like a flaw. We're like a luminous void crying out for fulfillment. A latent potentiality, you see. A whole dimension of being that was just dormant, untouched potential.
Wow. Okay. A sacred space of possibility. So if there's this absence, this potential, what was the actual metaphysical substance missing?
What could possibly go beyond that static perfection of the absolute? What new thing could emerge?
Yeah.
The answer the text gives, it calls it spiritual gold.
Spiritual gold.
And it's love gold. But, and this is crucial, love in its most transcendent and absolute sense.
Not just, the emotion we feel day to day.
No, not the fleeting feeling. This is described as a fundamental reality, an ontological reality, a cosmic force.
Okay.
Weaves the very fabric of the real. And here's the kicker. This specific kind of love, it did not originally reside in the divine.
Wait, what? God didn't have love.
This specific actualized kind of love, it requires the other, the text says. It needs something separate from the divine to actually become real, to be experienced.
That completely flips the script on God is love. So if that's an incomplete picture and God didn't originally have this love, then creation is the process of God becoming love.
Precisely. That's the radical redefinition right there. The text states it clearly. The divine is not intrinsically love in its pre-creative nature. Love is precisely what the absolute seeks through creation.
So the universe is like a giant laboratory.
A sacred laboratory, yes, where the divine expands, transcends itself, completes itself by constantly generating love.
And what about angels, beings often seen as perfect?
Well, the text suggests even they, perfect in their roles, do not know love in its actualized fullness.
Why not?
Because they lack that creative tension between separation and union, that experience of being separate and then yearning for connection. That's unique to beings like us. That's the spark.
That really changes our place in the cosmos. So what does this mean for us, for humanity?
It elevates our purpose massively. We're not just side characters.
Yeah.
We are absolutely essential and irreplaceable expressions of the great divine quest. We're the actual crucibles where love is born as new reality,
The wombs.
where God gestates new dimensions of his own being. That's the quote. Even our struggles, our suffering. It's seen as a purifying fire,
Refining us.
refining consciousness, preparing it to generate and hold this ultimate quality. Our challenges are actually part of the engine driving this cosmic process.
So our whole lives, individually and collectively, are this alchemical process.
That's the idea. And the source connects this to ancient myths, too.
Like the Anunnaki.
Exactly. The legends of the Sumerian Anunnaki searching for literal gold.
Hmm.
The text reinterprets that.
How so?
It suggests those stories aren't about mining metal, but are really a cartography of the invisible, a symbolic map,
Okay.
where the gold is a metaphor for this spiritual gold, this transcendent love They can only be distilled through human consciousness.
So we weren't made to be slaves, but vessels.
The unique vessel for the ultimate treasure. That's the perspective here.
That puts a whole different spin on ancient history. So if we are these alchemical vessels, how does this alchemy actually work inside us? What's the mechanism?
It's described poetically as a nuptial dance, a marriage between divine consciousness and human consciousness.
Okay.
And the core mechanism involves the ego, our sense of I.
Our everyday self.
Right. Over many lifetimes, potentially through evolution, the ego gradually transforms. It becomes what the text calls a crystalline chalice.
A chalice, like a cup.
Exactly. Ready to receive something. And this transformation isn't about destroying the ego, but about a deep recognition.
Recognition of what?
Of the soul's presence within, our deeper spiritual self. It's like a cosmic aha.
Does it?
And that's followed by a passionate surrender. The ego lets go of being the boss, essentially.
And becomes
A transparent vehicle for the soul to express itself rather than being a block. The soul can finally shine through clearly.
So this isn't just, feeling spiritual. It actually changes us in noticeable ways. It produces real shifts.
Absolutely. Tangible shifts. When the soul fully embodies or descends into this prepared chalice, specific qualities emerge.
Like,
The text mentions crystalline clarity in how we see things, seeing reality without the usual filters and distortions.
okay.
Also, organic integration, bringing together all the fragmented parts of ourselves into a harmonious whole,
Inner peace, maybe?
something like that, and graceful fluidity in how we respond to life instead of being rigid or reactive, and authentic freedom from just acting out old conditioning.
Makes sense.
It can even apparently awaken latent abilities, intuition, maybe even ESP. But the text stresses the main goal, the real spiritual goal, is generating love.
So every kind thought, every act of compassion.
Every luminous thought, elevated emotion, gesture of authentic kindness, each one is an instance of this great work happening.
And this process, it sounds like it underlies many different paths, not just one specific religion.
Yes, connecting this to the bigger picture. The text really emphasizes that. This sacred alchemy is the hidden current, it suggests, within all authentic wisdom traditions.
You see it everywhere.
You see echoes of it, definitely. In Christian mysticism, Jesus is seen as the realized archetype of this, the cross, as a symbol of that transformative encounter, suffering leading to love.
Okay.
In Sufism, you have Fana, ego annihilation, and Bhakha, subsistence in God.
Right.
In Hinduism, there's Advaita, non-dual realization, and Bhakti Yoga, the path of loving devotion.
It makes sense.
Buddhism's focus on universal compassion, karuna. Even shamanic traditions with their journeys of transformation, they all reflect this inner transmutation in different ways.
So it's like a universal school.
A universal initiatic school, yes.
Yeah.
With 7 initiatic degrees or portals consciousness needs to pass through.
That's amazing. And here's where it gets really expansive. Our sources say this isn't just happening here on Earth.
Right. This is cosmic.
This whole alchemy thing, it's happening across the universe.
Exactly. The text directly challenges what it calls our spiritual anthropocentrism, our tendency to think it's all about us humans.
That we're the only ones.
Yeah. It posits stellar civilizations out there, millions, maybe billions of planets, where beings have already completed this sacred alchemy.
Wow. And what happens then?
Their collective achievement, their accumulated universal love, all that spiritual gold they've generated, it forms this vast morphogenetic field.
A field, like an energy field.
Kind of a field of consciousness, of love, of unimaginable proportions permeating the cosmos, like a subtle information network.
So when we feel intense love or have those moments of expanded awareness,
The text suggests we're actually tapping into that, into this immense cosmic reservoir, this treasure built up over eons by countless beings.
so we inherit it.
We're heirs to a treasure we did not create, and that inheritance actually helps kickstart our own evolution. It boosts us along.
It's incredible to think we're plugged into something that vast. Now, what really struck me is how the source connects these, ancient mystical ideas directly to modern science.
Yes, that's a key part of the argument.
How is science supposedly rediscovering the sacred here?
This raises a really important point for how we understand things today. The text talks about an inevitable convergence.
Science and spirituality meeting.
Yeah, where science provides the detailed map of reality, and spirituality gives the meaning and purpose behind that map.
Okay, how? Give me an example.
Well, take quantum physics. It completely shook up old-school materialism.
Sure, matter isn't solid stuff at the bottom.
Exactly. It dissolves into probabilities, relationships. and things like quantum entanglement.
Where particles stay connected over distance.
Right. It shows that separation is illusory at the most basic level. The universe is fundamentally an indivisible web.
Okay. So how does that connect to love or the divine?
Well, it has really radical implications for things like gravity.
Gravity.
The
How?
source suggests that if gravity, deep down, emerges from quantum information, from the interconnectedness of everything at the quantum level,
Uh-huh.
the result of countless entanglements, then gravity itself is the physical manifestation of that universal connection.
Wait, so gravity's connection.
It's literally cosmic love showing up in the geometry of space-time, pulling things together. That's the interpretation offered.
Mind-blowing. What else?
Neuroscience and heart science are also part of this convergence. The brain might be a quantum organ,
Processing information non-locally?
perhaps. And the heart's electromagnetic field, which is way stronger than the brain's, like 60 times.
Wow.
It's been shown it can literally sync up the rhythms between people during deep connection. So the heart acts like a quantum organ of connection, a physical anchor for that entanglement.
Okay, brain, heart. What about our biology?
Epigenetics and DNA research. It's showing that our state of consciousness, feeling compassion, love, can actually change how our genes are expressed.
So our thoughts and feelings impact our DNA.
Literally alter its expression. The text even speculates our DNA might act like an antenna for biophotons, light particles,
Beings of light?
suggesting we're beings of light entangled in a quantum network. Maybe DNA even creates tiny wormholes facilitating faster-than-light communication within us.
This is really pushing boundaries.
And even things like the Global Consciousness Project. Research looking at collective consciousness.
I've heard of that. Does it show anything?
It's gathered data suggesting that big global events, moments of shared focus or emotion, seem to correlate with changes in quantum randomness generators, implying collective thought might influence physical reality.
So putting it all together,
Hello.
science isn't just explaining away mystical stuff. It's actually starting to confirm love as a fundamental force, like a real physical thing.
Precisely. That's the argument. This emerging science, according to the text, is validating that love will be scientifically recognized as the fundamental force that it is,
And the universe isn't just a machine.
but a living, conscious organism where love is the force that weaves all connections. And this whole understanding points towards something the text calls the Great Return.
The Great Return. Okay, what's that? The end of the universe?
Not an end, really, more like a cosmic apotheosis, a culmination.
Like the Big Bang in reverse. A big crunch.
Sort of analogous, yeah. But instead of just matter collapsing, it's the convergence of consciousness.
Yeah.
All the accumulated density of consciousness, all the spiritual mass of love generated over history.
All that spiritual gold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It reaches a critical point, creating a consciousness-based singularity.
Hang God in all this.
God is the process, experiencing and knowing itself more and more through every single consciousness contributing to it. Love, the thing that was absent at the start, is what the divine ultimately receives back,
Completing the circuit.
completing a cosmic circuit of unimaginable magnitude. And importantly, it's not just a reset. It's a new beginning,
Oh, so
a new cosmos born, already awakened, already conscious, already loving, leading to what the text calls a new earth. Not necessarily a place, but a transformed state of collective human consciousness.
wow, this deep dive, it really has shifted how I think about, well, everything. From quantum entanglement right up to the destiny of the cosmos and where we fit in.
And remember, this great return, it isn't just some far-off event we wait for.
No.
The text insists it's an ever-present process happening right now. It's simultaneously cosmic and intimate, universal and personal.
And it depends on us.
It's inevitable and dependent on our choices. Every act of real love, every moment of connection, every bit of inner work we do, it all feeds into it.
So bringing it right back to you listening, what does this mean for you? The source has a really powerful personal message here.
It does. It says you are at the absolute center of the entire process.
Not just part of it, but central.
Yes. It emphasizes that your unique perspective, your specific way of loving, it's absolutely essential for cosmic completeness.
That's profound. So here's the thought we want to leave you with directly from the source.
Consider this. There is a note in the Universal Symphony that only you can play.
There is an aspect of love that can only be born through your life.
The mystery continues.
The alchemy proceeds. Love expands. And you are right there at the pulsing heart of it all.
Something to reflect on. Your irreplaceable role.
Definitely.
Mm.
Until next time, keep diving.